Hello and welcome to The Limelight, your go-to podcast for all things marketing and SEO. I'm Chandler. I'm a digital marketing specialist here at Digital Limelight Media, and I'm thrilled to be one of your hosts. Each week, we dive deep into the world of digital marketing, bringing you expert insights, industry news, and actionable strategies to help you elevate your online presence and stay ahead of the curve.
Whether you're a marketer, an entrepreneur, or just curious about the dynamics of digital marketing, tune in to the In the Limelight podcast as we unlock the secrets to achieving optimized impact in the digital realm.
So join Lauren and I as we explore the exciting and ever-evolving landscape of digital marketing right here, The Limelight.
Welcome back to the In the Limelight podcast. This is Lauren.
And this is Chandler.
And we have a super special guest today. You might recognize her voice. The infamous
Miss Jules.
Woo!
Well, Julia Backus.
We're so glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Perfect. So I think today we're going to start off with our lime and our lemon. Just a refresher for anyone that needs it. Our lime is something good thing, or one good thing that happened to us, and our lemon is something bad, unfortunately. So my lemon this week is someone dinged my car.
Ooh.
I know. I went on vacation and I came back and I have a white car. Someone rear-ended me last August, just got it fixed because the body shop was months behind. And I have a fresh scrape across the back of my bumper.
Oh,
So
no.
I'm super, super bummed. I think it'll just buff out, but I mean, I could see it from across the parking lot. It was a real bummer. But on the bright side, I'm super, super excited that I get to go see Wicked next week. I'm seeing
Wait,
it for
is
the
that
second
out?
time. Oh, no, I'm seeing the musical. I'm very excited for the
what?
movie, but yeah, it's coming to DeVos Hall. I saw Wicked for the first time when I was 10, and I don't want to be like, it changed my life, but it really, truly did change my life. Like, as a young theater girl, I just related so much to the story, and I've been singing the songs for 14 years now since the first time I've seen it, so I'm really, really excited to see it again. So I guess my lime next week will be, I saw Wicked. And I'm going to pass it over to Jules. What were your lime and your lemon?
Well, first of all, popular, right? Isn't that from that? I love that. I think
Beautiful.
that's going to be a really fun experience for you. My lime and lemon, I'm going to start with my lemon because it calls back to the last episode that you guys did on Google is King. You guys were talking about investing in Google and like imagine that. Something funny about my family lore is that my grandmother went to my grandfather, who they were like big into investing and all that kind of stuff, kind of ahead of the game on several things. But she went to him and said she wanted to take $10,000 of her own money and invest it in this thing called Google. And my sweet Italian grandfather took one look at her and said, absolutely not. That's absurd. And then they didn't invest in it. And she held that over him until the day that he died. God bless her. So yeah, that just could have been my life. Can you imagine? But no, actually everything turned out fine. My lime is that today I was able to go with the team to the American Marketing Association's luncheon. It was all about video production, so very fitting for the kind of work that we do here at DLM. And it was really cool to hear from industry professionals who work on the agency side, but also in-house at local companies like Acrisure. And one of the panelists was from a local university here in Grand Rapids. So it was interesting to hear their perspectives on that. So really fitting with what we're talking about today. And I'm excited for us to dive right in.
Yeah, I think today's topic is definitely fun. I think Jules has a very, very keen information on it. Okay, I know everyone's been asking. Everyone relax. I'm going to do my lime and my lemon, okay? I'm going to start with my lemon, which this is more of a personal thing, and I quite literally inflicted this on to myself, so I don't know why I'm complaining. I'm trying to cut back on caffeine because I would have coffee and then also a Celsius on top of that, and my body simply cannot handle that.
You know, they are saying that it is like a huge flex now to just not drink any caffeine. Like that's what the like CEOs are doing, and it's like the brochachos are like, we're not doing any caffeine.
Maybe
so more
I'm a
power to
CEO.
you, really.
I would like to say I was an early adapter on the caffeine, well, leaving the caffeine bandwagon, I guess. Yeah, no, I love DLM for the fact that our Lord and Savior, Andrew Cromer, bless his heart, our CFO here at DLM, we love him. He stocks the fridge with Celsius, which keeps me into the office because I have a chemical dependency to caffeine, but I have to cut back because, yeah, like you, it was making me jittery. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Right
I mean,
there.
600 milligrams of caffeine is definitely more than any human needs. But over to my lime. My lime is that I am neglecting all of my adult responsibilities today, and I'm going to get takeout for dinner.
Slay, where are you going?
Black Napkin. Which
Tell us about Black Napkin. Tell the people
Black
who don't know.
Napkin is, I'm not joking, the best takeout in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It is all smash burgers and sandwiches, and it is so amazing.
Delectable.
I would-
like, it's unearthly.
I quite literally feel like I deserve some sort of sponsorship because I single-handedly am their spokesperson. I'm their brand ambassador.
You to Black Napkin is like how I am about Aldi, trying to get people on the Aldi
I
train.
love Aldi.
And I know that's
Oh
like
my God.
sacrilegious since we live in West Michigan and Meyer is like the thing here. But oh my gosh.
Aldi is, I'm sorry, this is going to go off such a tangent, but Aldi is actually the key to
saving money.
my life.
And like it's all the same stuff.
It's the same exact stuff for cheaper, and if not, I'm so sorry.
You're spending at
We
least
need to
20%
stop.
less.
We need to literally
You
stop
can
talking about this
invest
because I
that
could
20% that you're saving
into
when you
Google.
go. Yeah, exactly. Into Google, right into Google. Funnel it straight into Google.
Yes, exactly.
So while you guys are saving money at Aldi, I'm spending my time in the tchotchkes aisle, picking up the Aldi
it.
Snickers, the novelty like ramen bowls. Like, yeah, that's me, and unfortunately, it has my heart. I love Aldi.
Well, in talks of Aldi, today's topic is community building, which me and Jules just found out we are the same community, and Lauren of Aldi lovers. But yeah, so I think what we kind of want to start off with is kind of talking about the importance of just community building, and especially community building in today's age, which is, you know, this digital world that we live in. I think it kind of boils down to a couple different key components of the reasons why people go into communities and why they kind of start to seek community, whether that be online, whether that be at their local, you know, college, where that could be anything. I think it boils down to three things, and I think it's the first one is sense of belonging, the second one is mutual support, and then the third one is kind of just, you know, examples of that and kind of how we can kind of start to incorporate that into our everyday life.
Yeah, and there's communities all over the place, whether that's online and in person. There's fandoms on Twitter and X, communities on Reddit, local groups on Facebook. Just everywhere you look, people are looking for a sense of community and a sense of belonging and just other people to share common interests with.
Yeah, I think something too about creating a sense of community that's important, especially once you're out of a collegiate kind of atmosphere or like a post high school kind of atmosphere, is like just having those people who just innately understand or are willing to listen to the problems and the things that are going on in your life. So I mean, obviously our conversation today is probably gonna do a lot more focus around professional groups, but people find this in a lot of different ways, right? Like through your friendships, through sometimes religious groups, through you know, a lot of different outlets in, you know, our adult lives, and it can be hard to find your place in all of that. So once you've found that, it's one of those things where you have to kind of, you know, nourish it and make sure that you're taking care of it, similar to like a house plant. You don't want it to just keel over and die. It's like a love fern. You want to make sure it grows. For any of you who were, you know, born in this millennia, then maybe you don't understand that one, but that's definitely a quote from How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. So
Great movie.
all that to say, there are lots of examples of this. One of my favorites in Grand Rapids is Creative Mornings. So Creative Mornings is a group of just, marketing professionals, people who work in design, in, content writing, all of that. And they have these events every month to continue to foster those connections and within that community, right? So we work in an agency, but there are, single practitioners out there who are just doing, contract work, or, people who are kind of in their own silo, and it gets them out of that and brings them into a space with like-minded individuals to kind of talk through those ideas. They typically have some sort of, presenter, and it kind of just sparks that inspiration and conversation around that. So I think that having something like that, or an outlet to show up at in your local community, is really important. Their tagline is that everyone is creative and everyone is welcome. So just innately in how that's said, I think that creates that sense of community that we're, talking about here.
Yeah, I think it's really important to kind of be able to, obviously everyone at DLM is amazing and they're so like creative and unique, and they have like these amazing thoughts. I think it's also interesting to kind of see, for example, like say Jules, if you worked at a different company for some reason and I worked at a different company, it would be just overall interesting and I think beneficial to kind of hear your thoughts on an issue or a challenge that I'm facing with SEO or with websites or anything, to kind of hear how you guys go about it, and then we do, and then we can almost fuse those together to come up with something that is the best of both worlds.
Totally. It's crowdsourcing information, right? Like taking multiple perspectives and dialing in to see if they've had a similar experience, or if they haven't, how they would go about working through and troubleshooting that situation. I think that it's so important to like talk to others, right? Like, because then you get into a groupthink kind of, I guess, perspective on how things work. If it's just us working together all the time, let's try and look outside of ourselves and see how somebody who maybe doesn't work in the medical space is trying to drive more content, more leads, more people onto their website. I mean, there's a lot of value that we could take from other industries that, also are, trying to have high lead generation. I would say maybe a car sales company, or, ticket sales. Even if we were to talk to somebody who worked for one of the local sports teams,
the new amphitheater downtown.
Yeah, there's going to be a new amphitheater. I think there's a lot of outlets for us to hear from other people in their positions and glean information from them that we can then use, and then have them also take some of the stuff that we do and implement it for them. It's just kind of that crowdsourcing, that community mindset that allows people to then grow within their position, but then also share and build upon what they already have going on within this network of people.
Yeah, I think you just kind of wrapped it up and put a bow on it. I think there's so many benefits that we can use and we can take advantage of when it comes to crowdsourcing information or getting together with like-minded individuals and kind of celebrating each other and each other's ideas and being able to pull from each other and just build each other up and, give each other knowledge where some of us might not have as much as the other.
Honestly, I mean, why work smarter, not harder? Come on.
Exactly.
Come on. All
Exactly.
right. Well, I think that's kind of the skinny on that for sure.
Nearly 6 million searches happen on Google every minute. What if your business could be the answer to some of those searches? With Google Ads, it can be. Google dominates search engines with over 91% of the market share, making it the ultimate platform to boost your visibility. With Google Ads, you can target a specific audience. Whether it's by age, location, language, your ad reaches the right people at the right time. With Digital Limelight Media, you have control. Our expert team will help you choose when your ads show and how often they appear. With Google Ads, you only pay when someone clicks. From search ads that appear right at the top of the page when someone is looking for your services, to display ads that catch eyes on other websites, Google Ads offer a variety of ways to make your brand stand out. And with our in-depth analytics and transparent reporting, you'll see exactly how your ads are performing and how you can get even better results. Ready to turn searches into sales? Visit dlmconversion.com today and let us illuminate the path to your digital success.
So, Jules, I kind of want to pick your brain on some things
Okay.
because I think I don't want to like completely out myself, but as a kid, I definitely was a part of like online groups
Okay.
or like Reddit groups, even Tumblr groups.
Well, I mean, yeah, we were all
I
there.
mean,
we were there.
we were all there. Let's not lie.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But like even just like for example, like I was just listing all of the platforms that I've kind of been on. Like, do you think that like the platform itself dictates what the conversation is, what the community is, what the overall like structure of that forum or group is?
Yeah, I think that the most broad of the ones that you just mentioned was definitely Reddit, right? Like
Yeah.
there are subreddits for so many different topics. Like
Literally
you can
everything.
find, honestly, sometimes if I'm looking for an answer and Google doesn't have it right away, it's like I'm going to Reddit. Like
that is such that is the most true thing I think I've ever heard you say. That is
right.
so true.
It's like it quite literally goes for me like it goes Google and then Reddit and then YouTube. Like if I can't
Yeah.
find the answer. So there is a sub community for anything and everything there. And there's a wealth of information that lives within that. So if you have a specific niche or something like that, that one's definitely the most broad. But I think if you look at other sites like Discord even, I know that one is huge for conversation around gaming. It's also big for like gaming in different types of ways, right? Like online gaming, but then also like I know people have like D&D groups that connect on Discord.
Yeah.
I know that, you know, when that huge thing happened with GameStop, that conversation about buying that stock was happening on Discord.
Yeah.
And the dude was just like, yeah, I really like what the stock looks like right now. And then it went bonkers. So there's obviously that kind of ties back to games. So that one, you know, then has that community building there. But all that to say, like, I think to go back to your initial question of like deciding which platform might be right for you, it's just kind of knowing where the people are at that you're looking to talk to. As it you know builds out further, if you look at groups on Facebook, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Personally, for me, I'm not a huge Facebook user,
Yeah,
but
me
I
neither.
am in like East Grand Rapids garage sale, and like I have my interest in like antiquing and like finding you know, great thrift finds, and being in those groups on Facebook is really informative for telling me where those sales are going to be, or if somebody posts something on Marketplace, like that's something I'm looking for. Like I've fixed my algorithm so that it's showing me what I need it to show me. I think that like for on a client standpoint, right? Like if we're looking at this through the perspective of, you know, one of our plastic surgeons, or you know, even some of my LASIK clients that we have, one of my LASIK clients has created a forum for their, you know, previous LASIK patients to talk with prospective patients, so that it's not just the doctor-patient conversation happening online. It's a patient to potential patient kind of conversation happening in a forum that they've created and they are able to manage. And I guess the overall, you know, I guess the call to action, or the reason for that person who was previously a patient to be on that forum is they get stipends because they're helping them generate more leads. That's kind of the you know, I guess way of things. Like we want more user generated type of content, and to be able to tap into that kind of environment with people who already trust you and already know you. It's just like this vetted thing that exists and you get to tap into, and you know, it's not just a doctor patient conversation. It becomes this more like authentic thing. and you're like, okay, what was your experience? And somebody speaks firsthand. Like, that's so different. And it kind of goes back to like how, you know, people look at reviews and all that kind of stuff. And I'd say even that's a different kind of like community forum, right? Like, we're trusting people who we've never met based off of something that they wrote about a business or, you know, a treatment that they got. And it becomes this thing where we just trust in the internet, and it's the wild, wild west out there. Like, you just find the right places for the right things that you're looking to do.
I think that's so interesting when you were talking about that patient to patient, or even just like the credibility of that type of experience, because I think if I was going to somewhere and for example like you said, like a sales car person, they're like, this car runs great. I'm like, well, yeah, you're a salesperson,
right? Like,
of
how do
course
I
this
trust
car
you?
runs great. And if I like heard someone else that like bought the car and was like, yeah, this car runs great, I'd be like, oh wow, I'm absolutely gonna go for that car.
Right.
I think, like you said, creating those online forums allow for that person to person and that authenticity that I think is kind of harder to showcase and really gain someone's trust when you are the business or your team is a part of the team's business. Like, I think it's being able to really tap into a really authentic type of interaction with a client that will ultimately lead to hopefully a relationship. And I mean, in a business, you want profit, so profit.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think it's that, the idea of like taking the conversation from B to C to C to C within that forum is really unique and something that I haven't seen replicated a whole lot of times, but I think that it works really well for that client. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more of that moving forward with our own clients. I think too, though, with those groups, and like I said, it's kind of the wild, wild west, like having moderation and rules around like a Facebook group or on Reddit subpages. Like, typically there's a moderator that exists in those environments and they're able to keep people in line. So like a funny example, one that I know of is there are these, and this is like a best kept secret for single ladies in many different cities, but there are these groups called Are We Dating the Same Guy on Facebook, and
That's
there's
so
like
funny.
a, you know, are we dating the same guy West Michigan? Are we dating the same guy Michigan? Like, and people will post, and it's like kind of a safety thing, right? So they'll say like, does anyone know this guy? I've been on a couple dates with him, and then they'll you know, try and, you know, crowdsource that information. And I think that, one, that's really great for safety purposes, but two, that's like a very clear example of like how, you know, moderators then would need to exist so that people aren't, you know, being slandered, or it's like actually factual information
Posting
people's
people's
being
phone number.
shared. Yeah, shared. Like, we don't want to be giving out like personal details, just mostly like reviews of different, you know, potential suitors.
Great coffee date, 3 out of 5 stars.
Right. Like, but that's the thing is like that doesn't exist. And when you're
Yeah.
living in a digital space where you're, you know, swiping on people to go on dates, like to have a vetted person say, yeah, I went on a date with him, felt totally safe. Like, that's something that is really valuable. So I think that, you know, it is typically a net positive, but there are places where you can get into dark spaces, and it's trying to make sure that you stay where your interests lie and don't stray too far.
Yeah. I think it's also like, even just in today's day and age, like I think if you showed like someone from the 1800s an iPhone, they would like explode.
Oh, certainly.
So like to show how fast and like how constantly evolving we are, like it is only going to grow exponentially, especially with like AI. So like I think no matter what, like we're going to need moderators, excuse me.
Yes.
And we'll probably need like some sort of like standard to where a lot of the forums, like I'm sure even today there's not great forums out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be really important to kind of have rules and regulations when it comes to those type of things. Like even when it comes to like rules and regulations on like social media, you know what I mean? Like you can't even like, for example, a lot of our patients are surgeons, and you can't necessarily show a lot of before and afters on
there's
social media.
rules around it.
Yeah. So I think it's not only just like realizing like are the rules and moderations and the expectations of this group something that I really want to be a part of, or is this even just the platform for me? Like,
Totally.
am I gonna go to a YouTuber that has all of these really informational videos? Say I was really into Legos and he's built this really great group of people. All the comments are kind of talking about Legos and everything. Like, I think there's so many places that you can find and make sure that you find the right social media and the right platform to get a hold of this group.
Totally. I think like we advise our clients all the time to like engage with the communities that make the most sense for their business, right? So like I have a couple of clients where it doesn't make as much sense for them to be on, say, Instagram or Facebook or Twitter even, right? Say they're more of a B2B type of business. So one of my two of my clients are software businesses, and so to have them be on Facebook and Instagram where it's more so just like general public, that doesn't make as much sense. If we're on LinkedIn and we're posting content on there around blogs on how AI is going to change things, or relevant information that, say, an HR person or a chief strategy officer at a company would then want to engage with their company, being B2B, that's the platform that they should be engaging on, and that's where they should be having those conversations, running ads, whatever. If they want to then grow organically within those other spaces, they need to engage with those other businesses that are already a part of their network, right? So say I am, one of my clients being in software, and they specifically, you do medical education videos, right? And they do, different questions that you should be asking your provider and that kind of content that then providers can disseminate to their patients. If I'm I'm trying to advise the best I possibly can for this client. I'm saying, hey, LinkedIn's the best spot for us to be for this, but if it's important to us and the goal to get more of the brand out there on other social mediums, then yeah, let's do that. But we have to engage with your current customers, and we have to talk to your sales pipeline as well. So as you're talking to new sales leads, let us know who they are. We can do research on them, follow them on social, and start engaging with them on those platforms as well, to then have that kind of back and forth relationship, rather than us just sitting there kind of stagnant posting content. But like, is it getting any traction organically? No. And is it, a good investment for us to run ads on that? Also no. So it's just that, it has to be an authentic relationship for it to work. And I think that is kind of something that rings true across any of the platforms that we've talked about so far.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting that you kind of mentioned the fact that it doesn't necessarily make sense to try to push your business where it's not necessarily meant to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
or
obviously
wanted.
or wanted. I think, for example, like when I go on LinkedIn, I'm expecting to see new information about the area that I'm in, the career field that I'm in. I'm here to see evolving things about today's day and age in the digital world, like all the informational blogs. When I go on Facebook, I'm seeing like my Aunt Jenny going on a walk on the beach with her husband.
Right. They don't need like to see that information.
Yeah. And also, like you said, it's not like people are going on Facebook to learn about software companies.
No.
You know what I mean?
If they are, it's like so niche.
Yeah.
Why are we here? But I hear you.
I know. I think it's really cool because I think when you're like in where you're supposed to be and where it's more of a wanted and welcomed presence, I think that's when you can really start to build like a dedicated community. I think it will really allow you to open up into having a relationship with not only clients but like people around you and people that are kind of in your circle that I think would be more ample to just kind of push you career wise and push you in an area that you are kind of wanting to grow in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, 100%. I think that too is like, it's a space where once something really genuine has been created within that space, right? That community that's been built, then comes an opportunity for you to be able to like monetize that if you so wish, because there is a genuine base that's already there. So like, say your favorite podcast, since we're on a podcast right now, this is relevant. Say your favorite podcast, you've been listening to them for years. Of course, they've made some money off of ads that are run, but they, start doing supplementary content that goes out on a Patreon.
Yeah.
That's a paid platform, but it is extra content that they're putting together. So they're going to want to get paid for that versus their one podcast a week that they're putting out.
Yeah.
Being able to kind of find those, I guess, openings are, one, good for their own business, but two, it expands who's going to see them and also offers those really loyal fans, or I guess not even fans, like people within their network too sometimes, just another opportunity to engage. And people like are simple. They just love human connection, and sometimes that can be the thing that tethers you to somebody else, or like leaves you wanting more. So yeah, I think that there's a lot within those dedicated platforms, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a subreddit, whether it's whatever, where those kind of opportunities can open up.
Yeah, I think it's really, really interesting because, for example, obviously you're in this forum for a reason. There's some sort of beneficial thing that you're gaining from it. But then there's also, like, for example, when I was in college, I went to a design school. So there was this group that I went, and there was this designer that basically gave away amazing resources and information when it came to design. But he also would offer, like, these fonts that were a little bit cheaper than a normal font. I don't know, sometimes people realize that, like, fonts can be like thousands of dollars to use. So like he would do these for like $10-15, and to think about all those people that are also getting really great information and resources out of that to then be able to monetize on top of that, I think that's kind of where you kind of hit that sweet spot.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that like you said, like your professional groups, like you talking about the group that you were in college, those professional groups are the people who follow you for the rest of your career too. So like I always look back to when I was in college, I was in the Public Relations Student Society of America, PRSSA for short, because it's way easier than saying all of that. And those folks who I met during, that time being involved with the club, being on the e-board, all the things, they are still a part of my life to this day. Not that they're my best friends, but they're people who are like always cheering you on. And it's like maybe just subtle, like a like or like a, comment on LinkedIn, but it's something where like those people went through the same kind of thing as me. And so we have this kindred bond.
Yeah.
And if like, say they were looking for a job opportunity and we had a good fit, then I would definitely up them and say, hey, this is a vetted person. Like I can speak to the work that they've done, and that then again builds your network and your community, far beyond what you may have even imagined when you first went to a meeting. So yeah, I think it's a really important aspect of just how we operate in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah, I think it's, like you said, kind of something that we're able to really take advantage of. I think also in terms of like groups and everything, I will be looking for you to be in an East Grand Rapids Aldi Find groups.
Yes.
I'm expecting to see that very soon.
Oh
which,
my gosh.
if it's not
right now they have like a bunch of Disney stuff and I'm not into it. Not a Disney hater, just like there's a lot of like random Disney merch.
Yeah, it's like, this is Aldi.
I'm like, girl, bring in the plant stuff. Like this is my interest right now. It's springtime.
Okay, deal. So on the next podcast, or should we open up Patreon and just show our Aldi finds?
I would love that.
Okay.
I have at least 5 to 10 people who would be interested.
Oh, same. We got a group started.
Excellent. Need a digital makeover that screams wow? Dive into DLM's Design Wonderland. From pixel perfect social media graphics to jaw dropping website designs, we're giving Picasso of the digital age. Elevate your brand's visual game today. Contact your marketing specialist or contact our sales team to learn more.
So, speaking of groups, what are some ways that you like to get new members involved? Just get people going, make people kind of feel comfortable in their new space.
I think, I guess we could use this podcast as an example, right? So last season, I was one of the 3 hosts, and I knew it was something that I was really excited about for DLM. But I knew that there were other voices here that, namely you and Chandler, who would be able to take this podcast to what it needs to be and to the next level. And so you just have to see people, see their skills, see their strengths, and then try and help them capitalize on that. If you're somebody who's trying to get people involved. If you're looking at professional group, like today at AMA, when we were at the luncheon, it was all about, how to utilize video within your marketing strategy and why it's so important. And they had a whole panel up there, but then they opened it up for questions from people. So encouraging, people to then, again, user generated content, right? Start, funneling questions to these people that are actually relevant to them in their day-to-day life. And hopefully then that gets them more excited and involved. It's more relevant to them. All those kinds of things. Everyone loves a good icebreaker, a good 2 truths and a lie. If you want, I can give you my 2 truths and a lie, and I'd be, happy to let you choose from that. Mine are pretty good, actually.
Go ahead. I'd love to hear them.
So my 2 truths and a lie are: my uncle, Jeff Backus, used to play as a defensive lineman for the Detroit Lions. Michael Strahan once handed me a plate of cookies on Good Morning America, and I was at the Travis Scott Astroworld release party at Lollapalooza in 2018.
I fear I know you too well, but Chandler, Jordan, what do you guys think?
I feel like the Astro World one is a lie.
Producer Jordan, you think that's a lie? Same, actually. That's true. I was there. Yeah, I was working Lollapalooza, and I finessed my way in. Now, which one do you think's the lie?
Well, I know that your uncle was not a lion, only because I know the other 2 are true.
Very true. Yeah. I was actually on Good Morning America for work, so I just was in the audience, and Michael Strahan handed me a plate of cookies during a baking segment. So that's
a true
fun.
flex. True flex. We love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love cute little icebreaker fun things like that. I know recently when I joined a dog walking Facebook group, they shouted out all the new members, and it was really cool. All these people are commenting, "Hey, welcome. Can't wait to walk my dog with you." So it just made me feel really welcomed. Yeah, it made me feel like I was a part of the group, even though I literally just clicked join on a Facebook group. It really gave me that sense of community, and, it worked on me.
Yeah, it provides that sense of belonging too, right? As humans, that's what we're all yearning for, as, we say.
So once people feel comfortable, they feel like they're a part of that group, what are some things to kind of keep that community going? How do we continue to keep people excited about their groups?
I think it's sharing your resources, right? It's then providing insights that you're running into in your day-to-day, or different resources or tools that you're using that are helping you. So then it could potentially also help somebody else. That's that flow of information. And I remember when I was working at a previous agency that was a little bit more focused only on public relations. We would find tools for looking up reporters all the time outside of the ones that we paid for, just to see how relevant they were. And that kind of stuff happens all the time, right? If there's a new hot tool, I am going to try it. If it's free, if there's a membership, whatever, let's figure it out. Let's go through the trial. And then if it's actually worth its salt, then I'll share it with other people. If not, then we move on.
I love hearing that, and just crowdsourcing information. I think that's such an important part of groups and communities, just being able to have that level of support behind you to be able to crowdsource information, see and share experiences with other people. I know some other things that people like to do with the groups are having regular activities. At DLM, our group is Digital Limelight Media employees. We do one big activity a month, whether it's rock climbing, whether we go to a local hockey game, whether we go bowling, or whether we just hang out at a park. We just like to do these activities that keep us together, keep us involved, keep us, interacting with each other on a work front and a non-work front, just to get to know each other. There's also some things that you can do, like having virtual challenges, virtual meetups, Zoom nights, Zoom happy hours. I know a lot of Discord channels will host things like, what's the game where you pull and then bingo? Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they'll have like virtual bingo nights, virtual
Cute.
apples to apples nights. I've got a group of friends that at this point we're scattered all over the country, and we do Jackbox games pretty regularly just to, keep our group up to date and keep interacting with each other. So it's super fun. I also know that sometimes in these groups, to get people interested and get people excited, there's opportunities to kind of highlight people, like member of the month, give people shout outs. Here at DLM, we do our employee of the month, who is in the limelight for that month. Something really cool, you can create a point system, things like that, whether you are making people an admin or a monitor or a moderator on a Facebook group, things like that, just to keep people involved and excited.
For sure. I think, as you were listing off all of those, it's so important to, outside of those ones that are like our employee of the month and other, points of recognition like that, to just shout out people when you see something like cool or good happening, just like say it to the group and say, hey, Lauren shared with me XYZ information and it's been really helpful. Like, being able to give somebody that kind of recognition right back is also that, again, people are simple. They love to just have that, point of, hey, I'm feeling valued right now. So having that through that, brainstorming content, crowdsourcing experiences, obviously always an easy win. I think something just to kind of leave our listeners with is, if, this conversation has sparked an interest for you in any, getting involved with any professional groups, we have several that are here in West Michigan. The American Marketing Association, the Public Relations Society of America, the American Advertising Federation, and the AIGA, which is for designers and, any sort of graphic design professionals. All have West Michigan chapters, but there are so many for whatever your niche is within marketing. If this is, one of our clients listening, you have all of your professional boards and those kinds of committees that you can sit on for medical stuff. So, I think it's really important for continued peer-to-peer learning, because, you never stop learning, right?
Never stop learning. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Limelight podcast. Jules, thank you so much for joining us today.
Loved being here.
Always happy to have you back. And yeah, stay tuned for more SEO updates, Google News, basically anything we want to talk about coming hot from Digital Limelight Media.